Good morning to all of you. Happy Friday. Friday, the only day, the one day, the moment, the very moment. This is it. You ready?
Yes.
I don't think there were any earthquakes last night, but still, everything indicates that this is it. Every moment indicates that this is the moment of choosing to be fully, completely embraced by the moment. This moment, the only moment. So welcome. And when we realize this, when we are fully embraced, we realize just how simple the truth is. Just how simple reality is. In A Course in Miracles, Jesus says, simply do this. And ultimately, come with wholly empty hands unto God. So that being said, we're going to start with a little meditation, a song that helps us. Music is so helpful in letting us take that step into the formless. Music, it can't be seen, it can't be touched, but we can feel. I always say that music, as opposed to just hearing something said, enters in through the back door where there are no filters. When you listen to me or to anyone else teach or preach or whatever it may be, the information goes through the front door of our consciousness, which right behind that door, there are all these filters, but behind the back door, there are no filters. And music as a way of just entering right in. So we're going to start with a song that is meant to help us open that door. And it's called Simply Do This. And are you kidding me?
I'm mute.
Oh, thank you.
Simply do this. Still know it's so simple. Find yourself again. But in your imagination, you can return. For love could never abandon you. That's the only thing you need to learn. So simply do this. Be still. It's simple when you do only thing you will find home again. Yes, you will find yourself home again. For home is the only place. The doors are open wide. The doors are open wide. Always been. So come to me now. Just come inside. Let this simple truth come alive within. Simply Find yourself, oh yeah. Yes, you will find yourself, oh yeah.
Simply do this. Be still and know I am God. I am. Step into the presence of I am that. It takes on a whole different meaning when we hear it that way. Be still and know I am. Simply do that. And then we realize that home is the only place where the doors are always open wide. Home. What is home? What does that mean? We could say, well, heaven. Heaven is our home, the home we never left except in our imagination. But what we know is there's a feeling that when we are home, we are at rest, and we are called to rest in God. Rest in that still, quiet place where I am that. That's it. Simply do that. And when we simply do that and let it be so simple, here in this moment, it gives us a peek into heaven. And that's what we're going to talk about today, a peek into heaven. But first, it is Friday, and often on Friday, this is when we welcome Johannes to join me. So I'm going to ask Johannes, why don't you come on up and
Hola.
hola, you want to say hello to everybody?
Buenos días, todo el mundo. Good.
That's the camera right there.
Everybody, buenos días, buenos días.
You look so beautiful as
Ay,
always.
muchas gracias. Qué emoción. You see that be still and know that I am God in Spanish. Do you want to know how that
Yes, we do.
lesson is? Aquíétate y conoce que yo soy Dios. Aquíétate y conoce que yo soy Dios.
It always sounds so much better in Spanish. Maybe it's because we just don't know the words as well. Maybe in someone to a Spanish speaking person, maybe it sounds better in English. No?
I don't know. I like the Romance language, French, Portuguese, Spanish, like the sound.
Mm-hmm.
And I love English, of course. That's what I learned. Okay, you were talking about what is
Peeking into heaven. I'm going to
okay.
read something from Joel.
Okay.
Because we have still been on Joel Goldsmith's The Infinite Way book. So I'm going to read a little something that Joel wrote, and then we'll talk about it. Then we'll bring Vicky in as well. So here we go. And really take this in, because if you do truly want a peek into heaven, by the way, that's all you need, is that one peek, that one glance, that glimpse. When you truly have that, the experience of heaven is anchored within you. There will be nothing else that will stop you. In fact, let me tell you a quick story before I tell you this. And I've used this before, but it's such a perfect story. And it's a story about you. And I want you to imagine you standing in a field. And it's a beautiful day. And you look over to the side and you see a forest. And there's a feeling inside you of wanting to be home. Wanting to be the place where you were nurtured, where you were loved, where you were blessed. And you look to the side where the forest begins and you see what appears to be a mystic. And the mystic calls you over and tells you that if you enter this path that leads into the forest, it will take you home. But you have to have faith. You have to believe me. And you say, of course I believe you. This is the only thing I want. So you enter the path and you begin to run. You're running so fast because you have faith. And after a few days of running, you begin to slow down. You know this is not going to take 1 or 2 days. So you're walking, and every once in a while you stop and you see a beautiful vista, and you, or maybe play a game with the rocks on the side of the path, and you're still going forward, but you're not moving with nearly the same speed or energy that you were before. Until one day you come to a turn in the path, and you look in front of you, and there's a clearing in the trees, and through that clearing you see the castle, the kingdom, home. There it is, right in front of you. It's no longer an idea or faith or belief. You see it. And you take that 12-inch journey from believing to knowing. From that moment on, you're not walking, you're not even jogging. You're running at full speed, because the energy that you feel when you know something to be true takes over. And you run until finally you collapse at the gate. Home at last. And before you enter in, you look on the door and you see a map. And this map shows all of the land, all of the property that is part of this kingdom, this home of yours. And you see every place you've ever been, the forest, the meadow, the field. The entire path was always part of your home. You never truly left. And then you enter it. This is the step from faith to certainty. And it's the only real step we take. And once you have that peek into heaven, like when you come around the corner and you see through the trees, it makes all the difference. So this is what Joel has to say about that. When we are no longer limited by the 5 physical senses and have attained even a measure of spiritual sense or Christ consciousness, we'll find ourselves unlimited in terms of here or there, now or hereafter. Unlimited. There is a going in and a coming out without any sense of time or space, an unfolding without degree, a realization without an object. This is the experience. This is that 12-inch journey when you know. In this light, in this knowing, we see without the eye. We hear without the ear. We understand things that are not known before. When we have that knowing, or that peek into heaven, where we are, God is, because there is no longer separation or division. Once again, where, we'll put it in the present or the personal sense. Where I am, God is, because there is no longer separation or division. Here, there are no rewards and no punishments. You've stepped past them all. Harmony is. Life is not dependent on processes. We do not live by bread alone. We have the sense of peeking into heaven and seeing what mortal eyes are not meant to see. That's the experience. And you can spin in the intellectual desire of the experience forever if you choose, and it will give you nothing. It will take you nowhere. Spinning in the intellectual desire, the longing even But the moment you come to that clearing in the trees and you see the kingdom, home, and you feel that, and those tumblers fall into place, and you suddenly know that which has always been known and see that which has always been seen. You will no longer be walking or jogging, you will run, because the energy of that experience is so far beyond anything when you finally peek into heaven. So the question is, why not now? It's right there. All you need to do is come around the bend, and there it is. So, Reverend Johannes, I'm going to turn it over to you to hear your thoughts on that.
Gracias. Wow. Well, that's home. And it's always now. And it is an experience, as Joe described, it's a knowing, it's a longing, and it's an inner experience. It will not be found in any place or outer experience. It's always an inner experience, and that is home.
Yes.
And it's now because it's eternal. And because it's eternal, I feel it, you feel it, we feel it constantly. And that's home. No place else. That's all I have to say about that. That longing, that knowing, it's a knowing, it's an experience. And I'm sure each one of you, in some audience, you have had that experience. Each one of you here at Namaste, I'm sure, have had that experience. Wow, but imagine to be there constantly. Everywhere we go, doesn't matter what we are experiencing, even earthquake, to keep the peace. So that is home. That doesn't mean we don't take action when we have to take action about something. That's okay, but we keep that peace, that knowing, that sense of I arrived and it is now. An experience.
Pure
difficult
experience.
to describe.
Impossible.
It's impossible. It doesn't matter how much you try. You can put words into that beautiful, holy experience. Thank you for that. Oh my God.
It is impossible to describe, and yet there are moments when we see a beautiful painting or hear a song where we come close. We can get a peek once again. That's all this is about, is a peek into heaven. For example, listen to this. This is you. Homeward bound, I wish I was. Homeward bound, home, where my thoughts escaping, home, where my music's playing, home, where my love lies waiting silently for me, silently for me. Do you feel that?
Yes.
That comes close, doesn't it? Because once again, we slid in through the back door where there are no filters. We are home. So this is all just about getting that peak. And the peak, the holy instant, is all you need. Any final words before we bring Vicky on?
Well, when you were reading the Joel Goldsmith, I found something of Thomas Merton, but maybe I will read it at the end.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes,
because
of course.
It's about that.
That's a beautiful way to end. So let's go ahead and bring Vicky on, because Vicky always leads us home, and we are always so grateful for that.
Before that, I want to tell something to Vicky.
Okay.
Vicky, when I was going to be ordained as a deacon, I wanted to find something to put in my head, like the flowers that you have. I couldn't. But you were in my heart, in my mind, and I wanted to put that. So every time now that I see you, I remember that. Yeah, thanks.
Vicky, you inspire us in ways
Thank
you don't
you,
even know.
Johanna. Well, I wear a crown because it reminds me of home. As children, didn't we dress up and play, and we were cared for and free, and everything felt, not always, we all had different upbringings and physical home situations, but the universal memory of home is a place where we're cherished, where we're like little princesses and princes, where we're loved, where we're receiving, where we are just allowing ourselves to be taken care of, and we're not interfering. We're accepting it, and we're letting it flow forth through us. That's that feeling, that image of home. And I also want to say another glimpse into heaven is, I feel, the Spanish language. It's not an accident it's called one of the Romance languages, because it has the lyrical quality of love, as do all the Romance languages. When you speak in Spanish and you say it in English or German or anything else, the Spanish seeps right into your heart. You don't have to know what the words mean. There's an experience that it brings because it's that same lyrical quality of love. So, but what I would say is, as adults, the closest direction I give myself when I need to be open again is simply stop interfering. And that's Jesus's big direction all the time too. Just don't interfere. Get out of the way, because we don't realize that all the thinking and things that we do are an interference for a natural flow of our Father's love, of heaven. It's just a natural flow. And when we don't interfere with trying to figure something out or try to get something, just simply be present and breathe. That's why being still. When we're still, we're not interfering anymore. We're just allowing, and we're welcoming. And I try to be very aware of where am I in the way, so I can cut that out. And that no matter where we are, there has to be access. Every place we find ourselves, there's an access point, because there's no spot God is not. So wherever we are, if we just turn and just let go of whatever it is we think we need to be or do or say, and we stop interfering with that natural flow, the next natural loving expression will come through to us and end up being whatever.
She'll be back. Come on.
Back to that presence, to that stillness of where I'm out of the way, childlike, being taken care of, and effortlessly knowing, not figuring, but knowing, recognizing the discovery of the moment, the discovery of love in this very moment. Then we live here by that discovery and not by trying to figure and adjust. That I read that word with Baraka the other day, and I think it was in Course of Love, and I thought, oh, that's the direction of how to be in time, to realize we're in discovering heaven, home, all around us, all the time if we choose to, if we look for it. So get out of the way, don't interfere, simply be present. And our ideals of home, all of them are true. Those are the strings of our heart, whether it's a crown of flowers we wear, or a bouquet of flowers, or a song we hear. We recognize the lyric, the melody, the essence of the image that catches our eye. And that essence is that experience that's direct. And we all recognize it. We just need to be consistent about remembering to only recognize that. Recognize it all the time, because there is no time that it isn't. So, and then if you do want flowers, ladies and gentlemen, go to your nearest bridal shop. Bridal shops have them all.
Thank you, Vicky.
Thank you, Reverend Johannes and Brother James. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Wow.
You know, there's one more thing I'd like to say about this experience of home. And that is, for many of us, our early experience of home was not a positive one. For some of us, it was very positive. But for some, it was something that we've had to work through and forgive. And yet behind all of that, even in that situation, there was still that feeling of, beyond this world, there is another world that I truly want, where I am at home, where there is only harmony. It's like this beautiful quote from Joel. Let me read that last part again, where he says, in this light, or when we experience that home, we see without eye, we hear without ear, we understand things not known before. Where we are, God is, because there's no longer separation or division. Here, there are no rewards or even punishments.
Yes.
Harmony simply is. Life is not dependent on processes. We do not live by bread alone. We have the sense of peeking into heaven and seeing what mortal eyes were not meant to see. Harmony is. For the last 2 days, we've been saying God is, love is, and now we say harmony is, and we realize in each case we're saying the exact same thing. God is. Any final words you'd like to share?
Yeah, like Vicky says, that we find that stillness in any place, at any time. It is there. And it reminds me, would you do me a favor? Thanks. I want to read this because this is the experience of stillness. This is the experience of love. It says, the Trappist monk Thomas Merton once wrote, in Louisville, at the corner of 4th and Walnut, in the center of the shopping district, so it's a really busy area, I was suddenly overwhelmed with the realization that I loved all these people, that they were mine and I theirs, that we could not be alien to one another, even though we were total strangers. That's the experience of love. Clear. Again, as Vicky says, anywhere, in any place, he was just there. And all these people walking around, busy, and all of a sudden, he had the realization of oneness, or love, or harmony, whatever, God, whatever we want to call it.
And to this day, as you did with Bishop McCormick the other day, you can go to that spot and there's a big plaque in Louisville that shows exactly where this happened for Thomas Merton.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be the moment when he awoke. That's the word. When he awoke, he became enlightened at that moment in a busy street.
So if it can happen to a Trappist monk, it can happen to you. There is no difference. We are one.
We are.
I'm looking in the back of the room. Hey, Jet, move your head just for 1 second. Thank you. The Holy Self, which is, Jet, what does that say? The Course in Miracles? The Holy Self, which is mine.
abides in you, God's Son.
The Holy Spirit abides in you,
God's Son.
God's holy, perfect child. Your holy self abides right now in heaven as you, right now.
Amen.
That's the only thing we need to know, right now. So let's take that with us now throughout this whole day, throughout this whole weekend, as we celebrate home right now. That's all we need to do. Have that sense, that feeling of being home. And you are. So namaste. We love you. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed weekend. Of course, you're doing the talk on Sunday. Is that what I heard?
No, no, I'm doing platform.
You're doing platform.
Yes, we will have Reverend Bill.
Oh,
doing
Reverend Bill. Okay.
And of course, we will have also Reverend Karen in the.
And isn't
the
this Bill
service.
and Karen's last weekend?
It's the last, yes, but they have a class on Monday. We will talk about
Okay.
that. Yes, that was fast, no?
It goes so fast.
Oh,
We're so blessed by all of our Unity ministers who come here and share with us on Sundays and throughout the week. What was that?
That if anybody want to join us, it's through unitynamaste.org. That's in the website.
unitynamaste.org. You go there and then you click on the link and then you can join.
Yes.
Okay. Namaste.
Namaste.
We love you.
We love you.
Have a
Bye.
blessed day, everyone.
Thank you. I love you all.
Love you.
Bye bye for now.
Blessings. Happy to be here.